You were just browsing. Now you own 3 things you definitely did not need. Welcome back. I am the Verifactist, and I do not just tell you what to think, I show you the receipts. Today I am taking you somewhere that makes everyone uncomfortable, because it is personal. I am dissecting the psychology of spending, and by the end of this video, you will never look at your cart, your wallet, or your screen the same way again. Section 2. The numbers. Before I explain why this happens, let me just hit you with the numbers. According to the Consumer Psychology Review, published in 2025, 95% of all purchasing decisions are subconscious. Not deliberate, not rational. The decision is made before you are even aware you are making it. Capital One shopping research from 2024 found that the average consumer spent $282 per month on unplanned purchases. That is $3,381 a year, gone, on things they never planned to buy. And according to global e-commerce behavioral research from 2024, 40% of all money spent online comes from impulse purchases. In grocery retail, that figure climbs past 50%. Now, here is the part that really matters. Impulse spending dipped in 2023, but not because people got wiser. It dipped because inflation was at its peak, and people simply had less slack. The moment prices eased in 2024, the spending surged right back. The psychology never went anywhere, only the opportunity temporarily shrank. Section 3. Your brain is not your ally. Here is the foundational thing you need to understand. Every time you think you are making a careful, rational spending decision, you are almost certainly not. You are watching a performance that your brain stages for you after the real decision has already been made. This is the Nobel Prize-winning framework of Daniel Kahneman, published in his landmark work, Thinking Fast and Slow, out of Princeton University in 2011, for which he received the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences in 2002. Kahneman established that the brain operates on 2 systems. System 1 is fast, emotional, automatic, and largely unconscious. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and rational, but cognitively expensive and rarely used. In shopping contexts, System 1 dominates almost entirely. You do not deliberate your way to a purchase. You rationalize your way there, after System 1 has already decided. And a 2025 Consumer Psychology Review confirmed this applies specifically to retail, where emotions, cognitive shortcuts, and environmental cues consistently override analytical reasoning. The dopamine deception. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It is not. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It fires hardest not when you have something, but when you want it. Professor Brian Knutson at Stanford University ran brain imaging research, showing that the anticipation of a purchase activates the brain's nucleus accumbens, the reward center, more intensely than the purchase itself. Browsing without buying still floods your system with dopamine. This is why just looking almost never stays that way. And researcher Patrick Trotsky's neuroimaging study, cited in 2025, found something even more specific. Shopping environments cause simultaneous activation of the dopamine reward system and suppression of the prefrontal cortex, your brain's rational decision-making center. The reward system fires, the brakes weaken. This is not a metaphor. This is documented neurological mechanics. By the time you hit Add to Cart, your rational, budget-conscious self has already been neurologically sidelined. You are not shopping at full cognitive capacity. You never are. Section 4. Emotion is the salesperson. Here is something the industry does not want you to understand. Emotions do not just influence your spending. They are your spending. In a landmark controlled study published in the Journal of Marketing Research in 2013 by Lerner, Lee, and Weber, participants in a sad emotional state paid up to 300% more for identical ordinary objects than participants in a neutral state. 300% more for the same item. The mechanism is this. Sadness creates a loss of self. Buying something creates a momentary sense of regaining control. And retail therapy genuinely works for about 20 minutes. Then it does not. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology in 2011 by Adelaide and Meloy confirmed this. The pain pauses. The damage continues. Here's how your emotional state maps to your spending, and once you see this pattern, you will recognize yourself in it. When you are sad, research shows you will pay up to 300% more for comfort purchases. When you are stressed, your brain seeks a dopamine hit to interrupt the cortisol. You impulse buy, you scroll, you fill carts you may never check out. When you are bored, your brain craves novelty to lift flat dopamine levels. Haul purchases, new subscriptions. When you are happy, your brain reinforces the reward loop, splurges and treats. And when you feel FOMO, your social belonging circuits fire. Status goods, things that say you are part of the group. Consumer behavior research published in 2024 found that 81% of people make comfort purchases specifically when stressed, sad, or bored. Add targeted notifications and one-click checkout, and the outcome is not just likely. Section 5. The rigged environment. The environment you shop in was designed by people who understand your brain better than you understand your own spending habits. Peer-reviewed sensory marketing research from 2019 through 2025 confirms that slow-tempo background music measurably increases time in store and total spend. Ambient scent increases purchase likelihood.
Store layouts are engineered to force maximum product exposure before you reach your actual destination. And product placement at eye level increases purchase probability by up to 35% compared to the floor. And here's the part that should really land. Retail sensory marketing literature from 2024 found that 72.6% of shoppers consciously notice in-store background music. But the effect on spending still operates below awareness. Knowing the trick does not make you immune to it. The payment abstraction scale. A 2021 study by Banker, Dunfield, Huang, and Prelek, published in Scientific Reports, and a landmark 2025 study in MDPI Behavioral Sciences, tracking over 1,100 participants, both confirmed the same thing. The more abstract your payment method, the weaker the psychological friction, and the higher the spend. Physical cash, your brain feels it. Debit with PIN, deliberate. Contactless tap, friction drops sharply. Face unlock wallet, nearly invisible. One-click saved card, maximum impulse conversion. Buy now, pay later, the pain belongs to future you entirely. Section 6. The Buy Now, Pay Later bomb. Buy Now, Pay Later was sold as a smarter, fairer alternative to credit cards. What the marketing does not mention is what the research documents very clearly. Buy Now, Pay Later is present bias, weaponized at industrial scale. BNPL market research from 2025 puts the global market at $560 billion, growing at 13.7% year-on-year. 380 million people used it in 2024. That is projected to reach 670 million by 2028. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found in 2025 that 66% of BNPL users carry multiple loans simultaneously, often with no clear picture of their total outstanding balance. And by early 2026, 41% had made at least one late payment in the previous 12 months. And perhaps the most alarming finding, BNPL late payment data from 2025 through 2026 showed that 25% of Buy Now, Pay Later users are now financing grocery purchases with these loans. Not clothing hauls, not electronics, groceries. That is not consumer choice. That is structural financial distress with better branding. The psychology behind why it is so dangerous comes from Prelek and Lowenstein's landmark paper, The Red and the Black, published in Marketing Science in 1998. Your brain treats future you essentially as a stranger. The pleasure of the purchase is immediate and real. The pain of repayment belongs to someone your brain does not fully identify with yet. And merchant BNPL integration data from 2024 to 2025 confirms the system is working exactly as designed for everyone except the consumer. Offering BNPL at checkout raises average transaction value by 6% and significantly increases impulse conversion. The merchants pay higher fees because the psychology drives more total spending. Section 7. The bias breakdown. These are not signs of stupidity. These are features of human cognition that evolved for survival, now being exploited in retail environments designed specifically to exploit them. Anchoring. Kahneman and Tversky's prospect theory, published in Econometrica in 1979, established that the first number you see becomes your reference point. Everything else is judged relative to it. An item marked down from 80,000 naira to 30,000 naira feels cheap because your brain is comparing to the anchor. The 80,000 was never the real price. Loss aversion. From the same Kahneman and Tversky research,
Losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains feel pleasurable. Only 3 left in stock. Ends in 2 hours. These are not inventory reports. They are loss aversion triggers. Scarcity bias. Consumer psychology research from 2020 through 2024 confirmed that humans perceive scarce items as more valuable, an evolved response from resource-limited environments. Most limited edition scarcity is entirely manufactured. The signal is real, the shortage is not. Social proof. E-commerce consumer data from 2025 found that 93% of buyers check reviews before purchasing. 10,000 bought today, others viewing now. Social proof is one of the most reliable conversion drivers in retail, and it works on all of us. The endowment effect. Research by Thaler published in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization in 1980 showed that people place higher value on things they already feel they own. Add it to a cart, customize it, build your own. Now it feels like yours, before you have paid a single penny. Abandoning it feels like loss, and loss aversion kicks right back in. Section 8. Social media, the comparison machine. Your brain evolved to track status within a tribe of roughly 150 people. Now, that same circuit is connected to a live feed of millions of curated highlight reels, algorithmically optimized to show you the people who are doing better than you. In the context for which this system evolved, it would have been psychologically catastrophic. In 2025, it is just Tuesday. Social commerce research from 2025 found that 81% of consumers have bought a product based on a friend's social media post, because trust transfers from the person you follow to the product they promote. A 2024 study of 400 participants by Din and Lee, published in the Social Psychology Journal, found that fear of missing out significantly predicts 2 linked behaviors: conspicuous consumption and the public sharing of those purchases on social media, which triggers fear of missing out in the viewer, which drives further purchases. Social media has not just accelerated status spending, it has industrialized and automated the comparison cycle. An analysis from the Center for Humane Technology, published in 2021, confirmed that social platforms are deliberately engineered around variable reward schedules, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. You scroll not because it always rewards you, but because it sometimes does. That uncertainty is the addiction architecture. Section 9. How the apps are rigged. The apps are not neutral environments where you happen to shop. They are conversion machines, built by psychologists, behavioral economists, and user experience engineers whose single job is to identify the psychological friction standing between your money and their revenue, and remove it. One-click buying, originally patented by Amazon, United States Patent Number 5960411, filed in 1999, eliminates the deliberate pause between decision and transaction. That pause is the exact moment the rational brain typically intervenes. They removed it deliberately because removing it increases conversion rates. Push notifications timed to emotional vulnerability are not coincidental. Platform behavioral targeting research from 2023 through 2025 documented that platforms analyze usage patterns to identify peak psychological vulnerability, late-night browsing, post-stress scrolling, and deliver purchase nudges at exactly that moment. And AI recommendation engines, documented in technical research published by Amazon, Meta, and TikTok from 2022 through 2025, are trained on your specific browsing history, purchase patterns, dwell time, and emotional signals. This is not generalized marketing. This is bespoke psychological targeting, built specifically for you. Section 10, Myth-busting time. I check everything, so let me run the receipts on the most common spending myths. Myth 1. I only overspend when I have money to spare. False. Peer-reviewed consumer behavior research from 2021 through 2025 consistently shows that emotional state predicts overspending more reliably than account balance. Financial anxiety is itself one of the most common dopamine-seeking triggers. A low balance can actually increase impulse buying, not reduce it. Myth 2. Paying by card is the same as paying cash. False. Brain imaging studies by Banker, Dunfield, Huang, and Prelick in Scientific Reports in 2021, and by Saravolo and colleagues in Frontiers in Neuroscience in 2019, both confirmed that physical cash activates the anterior insula, producing real psychological pain that slows spending. Card and digital payments bypass this signal entirely. Buy now, pay later removes the signal altogether. Myth 3. Retail therapy cannot actually fix a bad mood. Partially true. The mechanism is real, which is precisely what makes it dangerous. Research by Adelaide and Melloy in the Journal of Consumer Psychology in 2011 confirmed that making purchase decisions temporarily restores the sense of personal control that negative emotions remove. The effect lasts 20 to 30 minutes, is often followed by guilt and buyer's remorse, and leaves the underlying emotional trigger completely unaddressed. The pain pauses. The damage continues. Myth 4. I am too smart to fall for fear of missing out marketing. False. Fear of missing out exploits universal human wiring, not low intelligence. It operates through the brain's social belonging and identity maintenance circuits. Research by Din and Lee, published in the Social Psychology Journal in 2024, confirmed it significantly predicts conspicuous consumption across all demographic groups, including highly educated, high-income respondents. Intelligence is not the variable. Human wiring is. Myth 5. Buy now, pay later is responsible when you use it for things you can afford. Partially false. Merchant BNPL data and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau research from 2023 through 2025 found that BNPL users spend approximately 6% more on the same items than non-users. The mere presence of the payment option changes how much you buy, because it changes how much the purchase costs you psychologically in that moment. The trap is not just for people who cannot afford repayments. It is for anyone whose spending behavior is altered by a system designed specifically to alter it. Section 11. The Verifactist verdict. So here's where I land. None of this research says you are stupid for overspending. What it says is that you are human, operating a brain that evolved for a very different world, inside environments engineered specifically to exploit that mismatch. The playing field is not level. It was never meant to be. But here's what is in your control. 1. Use cash for discretionary spending. Research by Prelick, Lowenstein, and Banker and colleagues on the pain of paying confirmed that physical money forces your brain to feel the transaction cost, the exact friction that impulse buying environments are designed to eliminate. 2. The 48-hour rule. For any non-essential purchase, wait 48 hours. Impulse buying research consensus shows that the emotional urgency driving most impulse decisions dissipates significantly within 24 to 48 hours. If you still want it after the wait, the desire may reflect genuine preference, not emotional state. 3. Unlink your saved payment details. The Spenception study published in MDPI Behavioral Sciences in 2025 confirmed that requiring yourself to re-enter card details creates the deliberate pause that allows the rational brain to engage and measurably reduces impulse transaction rates. 4. Spend on experiences, not things. Van Boven and Gilovich, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2003 and replicated multiple times, found that experiential purchases produce significantly greater and more durable happiness than material ones. Material goods adapt into the background. Experiences become part of your identity. 5. Identify your emotional triggers. Research by Lerner and colleagues and by Adelaide and Melloy confirms that once you document which emotional states precede your unplanned purchases, you can create a deliberate pause and an alternative response at the exact moment the trigger fires. 6. Treat buy now, pay later as debt. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in 2025 found that 66% of users carry multiple simultaneous loans with no clear picture of their total balance. Track every active BNPL obligation as debt on a running total. Name it for what it is. Your money is being targeted by systems built by people who understand your brain better than you understand your own bank statements. The first step to spending like a rational actor is accepting that without deliberate intervention, none of us naturally do. If this video just made you question your last 3 impulse purchases, that is exactly the point. Subscribe for more fact-check deep dives on the things that actually affect your life and your money. Drop a comment below. What is your biggest spending trigger? And share this with someone whose cart is always mysteriously full. I am the Verifactist. Stay verified.